Hi, it's Gene, retired in Mexico, and we ask one question on this channel, which is, do they write them and sing them like they used to? A lot of people, young and old, think that the old music is better than the new music, but I'm not so sure. And we're exploring this question one video at a time. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different. So we've had a really good response to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. And I subscribe to a channel called It Prog, and they only have like a dozen videos. I'm surprised at how little they have, but they're asking the question, is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard prog? Now, I'm an old prog head, so I really am. In the late 70s, when I was in college, I really embraced the punk and the post-punk and the new wave, and it really changed my taste in music. And also I discovered a lot of old blues from the 40s and 50s, and old R&B and things before I was born, things that have changed my taste a little bit over the years. But man, when I was in high school, I was a prog head. And so I saw, in 1975, I saw the Straubs and Gentle Giant on a double bill. And then I saw Todd Rundgren the next year, and the next year after that I saw Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and then I saw Renaissance. In 78 I saw Yes. 81 I saw King Crimson, and then in 82 and 3 I think I saw Genesis 2 years in a row. I've seen Peter Hamill, I've seen Steven Wilson, I've seen David Allen from Gong. I mean, I was a real prog head. So I feel like I know a little bit about it. And they're just asking this question, so I thought, let's watch it. It's about 10 minutes long, and it's basically a documentary. So let's just see what these guys, I have no idea what this is about. So let's just watch it together, and then if I have any comments, I'll comment. So let me unmute this, and here we go.
Wizard are a psychedelic rock band formed in 2000.
Let's back that up all the way.
King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard are a psychedelic rock band formed in 2010 in Melbourne, Australia. The band is known for exploring many different genres and changing up their sound quite drastically from album to album, while still holding down a characteristic sound that ties their eclectic styles together into a well-branded and concise musical entity. The band indulges in all kinds of experimental and progressive musical ideas, like microtonality, forever looping albums, and polyrhythms in a not-so-typical style.
Is that progressive rock?
Let's explore the many facets of King Gizzard in this episode of It Prog? In 2017, the band released a total of 5 complete albums. The first of these was released on February 24th, 2017, and was the band's 9th full-length album. Titled Flying Microtonal Banana, it focused on a microtonal approach to psychedelic rock. The next release of 2017 took place on June 23rd and was titled Murder of the Universe, which was described by the band as a concept album to end all concepts. On August 18th, Sketches of Brunswick East was released. This album was a collaboration with Alex Breton's psychedelic jazz project, Mild High Club. Their next project, Polygon Wonderland, a royalty-free polyrhythmic epic, was released on November 17th, giving them just another month and a half to release another album inside the year of 2017. On the 31st of December, the last day of the year, King Gizzard released their 5th album of 2017, Gumboot Soup.
It's amazing.
Which is a collection of songs they had that didn't quite find their way into any other album. The intense work ethic of King Gizzard, demonstrated in these 5 releases in a single year, leaves largely their lead vocalist and songwriter, Stu McKenzie, to blame. In an interview in 2017, Stu says, "We've been busy, but I try to put it into perspective. I don't feel as if I work as hard as a doctor does."
Interesting.
Going back to the first album of 2017, Flying Microtonal Banana used microtonal guitar tunings to compose much of the music on the release. For the uninitiated, microtonalism is the use of musical intervals smaller than the standard interval of a semitone. In Western popular music, we tune our instruments to something called equal temperament. Equal temperament divides the octave into 12 equal tones. These tones are called semitones, and 2 semitones is a whole tone. A microtonal tuning, in contrast, is anything that divides this octave into greater than 12 tones. 24 Ito, or 24 equal divisions of an octave, is known as quarter tones, since it fits 4 tones in the space of a whole tone. Stu McKenzie of Gizzard talks about the microtonal guitar tuning, saying, "It probably averages a quarter tone every second tone." He's referring to a semitone here. And it's arranged in a way that makes sense to play the quarter tones that I wanted. If I were to do quarter tones all over the entire neck, it would make the guitar look too confusing, as if I was playing a different instrument. Tunes like Rattlesnake, Billabong Valley, and Sleep Drifter all feature the flying microtonal bananas enchanting melodies. But why are these melodies so enchanting and often otherworldly sounding? An analysis of that effect on the listener could be that these quarter tone melodies are not found in our Western world 99.9% of the time. The music that we listen to on a daily basis is in 12 tones to the octave. So when we are confronted with these sounds, our modern ears perceive the notes, maybe at first, as wrong. But then with the knowledge that the effect was intentional, you're forced to place it into a category juxtaposed to ethnic, exotic, ancient, or even alien.
And I'll stop the video briefly. I don't think it's going to get blocked, but yeah, I've listened to a lot of early 20th century music, classical, and they really are the ones that kind of broke the barrier on this, as far as I know. People like Webern and Schoenberg and all these people that experimented with serialism, they called it, 12 tones. So hats off, kudos to the classical world. And of course, if you're a prog band, you're going to draw from classical, right? So let's go ahead and keep playing this. This is interesting.
Quarter tones are indeed found in many instruments and cultures around the world, including many Middle Eastern cultures like Persia and Iran. The tar, for example, is an Iranian long-necked stringed instrument that resembles a guitar. This instrument uses quarter tones in a very similar way to the flying microtonal banana. Often praised as Gizzard's most epic project, Nonagon Infinity is King Gizzard's 8th studio album. It was released on the 29th of April 2016 on ATO Records. The album is designed to play as an infinite loop, where the record can be played front to back, and the sound won't break. The album controversially won Best Hard Rock/Heavy Metal Album at the ARIA Music Awards of 2016, with some accusing the ARIA of miscategorizing Nonagon Infinity. Nonagon Infinity is a musical and lyrical journey. From their usual headbanging guitar riffs to fast-paced drumming, each track seamlessly mutates from one to the next. When you reach the end of the record, the album is designed to play as an infinite loop. When the final track, Road Train, seemingly appears to drop out abruptly without a real point of resolution, in actuality, when the album is set to repeat, the song jumps right to the downbeat of the first track of the album, Robot Stop, creating a never-ending loop where the beginning is the end and the end is the beginning. Akin to syncing up Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon with The Wizard of Oz, or syncing up 4 records to play the Flaming Lips' Zurika. Nonagon Infinity doubles as an art experiment similar to these albums, where the listener can take an active role with the record, creating an interactive experiment that puts it at home with these older legendary pieces of psychedelia. Probably their most progressive release to date, Polygon Wonderland incorporates many shifting rhythms and time signatures. The title, Polygon Wonderland, is a kind of double meaning of sorts. As you can hear in the name, poly, meaning many, seems to be an allusion to all the different metric and polyrhythmic ideas in the release. Stu is quoted, "This has definitely been one of the most challenging records to write and record." McKenzie says, "It was a challenge to learn these songs because there was a lot of time signature changes and super fast drumming." The title of the record also incorporates the word Gondwanaland, which is apparently one of the 2 major continents that came together to form the supercontinent Pangaea. Gondwanaland, also known as Gondwana, existed some 300 million years ago, and its collision with the other main continent at the time, Laurasia, produced the area that is known today as the Himalayas, home to Mount Everest. Gondwanaland includes the land masses of South America, Africa, Antarctica, India, and Australia. Polygon Wonderland, as Stu McKenzie puts it, is divided into 4 distinct parts. You've got Crumbling Castle, being its own sort of part, and then Polygon Wonderland, through to Deserted Dunes Welcome Weary Feet, which is its own mini-story.
I just want to say, too, I mentioned early 20th century music, but he was talking about Persian music and music from the Mideast, and obviously that's a lot older, so I'm glad that he said that, and I think I spoke just a moment too soon, but in any event, I've listened to a lot of that music too, and yeah, your ears just get used to it. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. We all grew up on that, most of us, but not everyone on this channel though. So yeah, it's interesting. I wonder, you guys are from all these different countries, and you may hear King Gizzard completely different, depending on what kind of music you were raised with. That's an interesting point. Let's keep going with this. Pretty technical, huh?
And then Intercell, Horology, and Loyalty is its own narrative, ending with tetrachromacy through to the fourth color. They all exist in their own universe, but they all link with each other a lot too. The album was released as a free digital download, encouraging fans to create as many copies as they please. A note accompanying the album's release reads, "Make tapes, make CDs, make records. Ever wanted to start your own record label? Go for it. Employ your mates, press wax, pack boxes. We do not own this record. You do. Go forth. Share, enjoy." Whatever their motives are for this move, King Gizzard's decision to create a royalty-free record is a solid business move. Although the album is the furthest the group has ventured into strange prog rock sounds, and probably the most difficult for the average listener to get into, having an album that is free to share and create significantly expands their reach to people who might not have heard of them otherwise, as well as setting them apart from so many record labels and artists that don't want to lose capital on such things. In their 2019 release, Infest the Rat's Nest, King Gizzard again lays out an epic concept album that deals with different threats to planet Earth and the human race that may seem science fiction but are sometimes more fact than fiction. The track, There Is No Planet B, seems to sum up the album quite nicely, refraining that we do not have a second option. Earth is our only home, and if we destroy it, there is no Planet B. Infest the Rat's Nest was also made into a video game. As a surprise release, the game titled Mars for the Rich, which was also a title on Infest the Rat's Nest, was a possible jab at the off-planet ambitions of technology entrepreneur Elon Musk. Mars for the Rich takes the form of a first-person shooter in the spirit of 90s classic Doom. Lots of hidden glitches are found in the game, and it's free to play on any PC. I'll link to the game in the description if anybody wants to play it. Away from the music and other media, King Gizzard are the creators of something called GizFest. GizFest is something that started in 2015 as a 2-day music festival at a local corner hotel with locally bred psychedelic rock and garage bands. Every year the festival grows and incorporates more and more acts from all over the globe and artists from their own label, Flightless Records, an independent record label founded in Melbourne in 2012 by former King Gizzard member Eric Moore. King Gizzard definitely have pushed the envelope in their music, often taking more risky moves to create records that are unconventional and stray away from their previously conceptualized sound. Safe is far from King Gizzard's approach, although not entirely experimental either. There are elements that tie everything this band does together and leads fans on a trip through different sonic and conceptual material, from elements like an ever-evolving sound, musical ideas that push the accepted standards of the genre, and creating conceptualized albums like Murder the Universe, Polygon Wonderland, and Nonagon Infinity. King Gizzard exemplifies traces of the prog rock genre in everything they do, albeit set to a more modern context. If you like this video, please subscribe and hit the notification bar so that you're notified next time we release a video. It really helps the channel out with the YouTube algorithm and all that, so thank you for that. Also, if you're into progressive rock and that kind of thing, leave a comment down below telling us what prog bands you would like to see next on the channel, or something a little different, as long as it's prog. Alright, that's all for this episode of It Prog. See you in the next one.
Okay, well that was pretty technical, and it reminds me, like, if I had to pick a favorite jazz album, probably Kind of Blue by Miles Davis, right? So that was the first modal jazz record, but I listened to it many, many times before I ever knew it was a modal scale. And then I decided to read up on that and get to where I could hear that in the music. But to tell you the truth, I still pretty much listen to the album the same way. So sometimes these details, they're interesting, but if you're not a musician, is it too bold to say, I don't really care? I mean, I do care, I'm interested, but it doesn't really change my listening experience, if you know what I mean. Uh, what they're talking about here, I think, really is if you're making psychedelic rock or psychedelic prog rock like King Gizzard does, you want it to sound otherworldly. And you can do that through these things they're talking about, microtonalism and these types of things. So I totally get what they're doing. They're trying to make their music sound, uh, different. And so to some ears, that would be defined as uncomfortable. To other people, it would be really cool, right? So that's what I hear these guys doing is trying to not go down the path that others have paved and try to do something different, something that sounds alien, otherworldly, especially given their themes. So I think it's really cool to get this background on the band and find out what they're doing. Uh, but it's a musician's world, and for someone like me that just listens to their music and enjoys it, it's interesting to get the background. But all I know is they sound unique and different, right? And that's really the important point. But this is how they get there. So I always appreciate this kind of background. Interesting video. I don't know if this was interesting to you guys or not, but some of you fans might enjoy this analysis of their music, and I didn't know what to expect. I thought they were going to ask the question, is it prog? But apparently they would not have done the video if they didn't already make that conclusion. So they're concluding that they're a prog band and all these other things that they do. So I'm still going down the King Gizzard rabbit hole. We've only done 2 reactions so far. So more to come, guys. Thanks for the suggestion. I really dig the band. And so that's it. We'll keep it short. As we say here in Mexico, buen dia.